Hey, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode in season two of our podcast, where we are looking at idea to investment and the process that goes behind it. So, welcome to another episode of Idea to Investment, where we help business leaders and life science, med tech, and healthcare tech founders turn their life science innovations into successful startup companies. We have two co-hosts with you today, Dr. Nadia Batawi.
Hello,
And
everyone.
yes, I'm so excited that you're here. I love our conversations, and I'm so glad that we get a chance today to talk about something that is deeply important to both of us. And just a quick introduction for myself: if this is the first time you're hearing my voice, I am Dr. Marquisia Pierce, life science and training, or life science by training. Have been in the process of helping other tech entrepreneurs, particularly on the academic side, take their lab inventions or their technologies that they've been working on and moving into the marketplace. I've done this with several accelerators in the regions. I've worked with over 80 life science companies at this point, helping tell their story and get connected, more importantly, to the ecosystem that can move the tech along. And I'm so impressed by my good friend Nadia's background. I'll give her the stage now to share a little bit more about her.
Awesome. So good to be with you, Marquisia. For the audience, I'm Dr. Nadia Butawi, PhD in genetics, and I'm the founder and CEO at NanoNurse, and we are developing tools to make drug development faster in respiratory diseases. I also started a community for healthcare tech and wellness, and I'm building one for that leverages innovation for business growth. It's called AI for Business Growth. I'm very passionate about leveraging technologies and innovations and moving them to the market where they can help the people that benefit from them the most. And I'm super excited about today's topic that's very dear to me. How do we leverage AI for growth in business, and especially in product development?
So, for today's episode, we're going to give you a 30,000-foot view of what we'd like to talk about today, and specifically in how we can use and leverage resources around product development. So, being able to actually make some tangible process on a product has many key parts to it. And if you don't have access to a larger community where you have somebody to kind of walk you through some of these processes, there are tools available, low
Yeah,
code, low cost, to help
yeah.
get you point you in the right direction. And so, Nadia, why is this topic particularly important for life science founders and healthcare founders when they're building a technology?
Yeah, I think it's very important because the competition in the marketplace is intense, and it gets even more intense as we go. So the
Mm-hmm.
businesses, they cannot afford to develop a product or service that nobody will buy.
Mm-hmm.
They need a robust innovation pipeline and a sound business strategy so they can create products that people want instead of developing solutions that without knowing that it's the right fit for their target audience. So they need to know ahead of time that they are creating what resonates with the right audience. And that's why they can leverage AI to take it even, to do it faster and
Mm-hmm.
to execute even faster than ever before. So I believe that the ones we are at the cusp of an evolution that maybe is the only one that we'll see in our lifetime. It's compare it to the dot-com boom in the late 90s. That's what we're experiencing now, but it's orders of magnitude faster.
Mm-hmm.
And the business leaders that will leverage those tools and get the skill set. In the previous session, we talked about talent. Get the right talent, have a sound business strategy, and use the right tools for their product development, for their marketing, sales, and what have you. They have a huge competitive advantage. And that's why I thought it's relevant to talk about AI and product development today.
Sounds good. Well, let's jump right into it. I know you have a useful graphic so that we can kind of this section
Absolutely. Sure. I'm
part.
going to get you off stage for a bit and we'll be right back. I wanted to review the, the different potential of AI in business. I think it comes in three sections. It's very useful in operational efficiencies. That's where you automate processes that take time, but they're not in your zone of genius. It also helps you with resource optimization. It increases your productivity. And in doing so, you free up more time to improve your customer experience, to personalize your offerings, to use AI to predict what the customers need so you can offer them what they need at the right time. Think about Netflix. If we're both watching Netflix, the chances are what I'm seeing on my stream and what you're seeing is different because they leverage the power of predictive analytics to offer you what they think, based on your history, is most relevant for you. A third pillar, I believe, is enhanced decision making using both data analytics, predictive modeling, as well as decision automation. So, if you are a business owner or a business leader and you have multiple options in terms of product development, you can do some sort of scenario analysis to pick which ones you can allocate your limited resources for development. And I see that it has huge potential for leveraging these tools so you can allocate resources to focus on the things that will give you the most return on your investment. And I'm going to bring my friend here to the stage. And yeah, so I think those are the three pillars: the operational efficiencies, the personalization of your messaging, as well as the predictive the data analysis part. So you can leverage AI for better decision making. If I take an example, for instance, you are a startup in life sciences and your technology can help multiple segments. You can do some sort of brainstorming with generative AI. If we take ChatGPT, for example, and then ask it, hey, what would be different pain points that these sectors or these segments experience in relation to X, Y, or Z?
Mm-hmm.
Even better, sometimes we're so close to our tech and what it could be used for that we may miss other opportunities. You
Mm-hmm.
can do almost like a customer discovery, but the AI is your brainstorming buddy. So, what would be potential segments that I may be, interested in this technology, or maybe having some problems that I can solve? If so, what type of problems? And you can go deeper. A lot of people go shallow when it comes to prompting those generative AI models. When you know how to do it, the skill set, how to do it right, you can go deeper what they are thinking, what they are feeling, and what they are doing. You can paint a scenario of different potential problems they're facing now and what would be the future if they take action. So, right there, when it comes to marketing, and again, if you are a business leader, chances are, if it's a small team, you're the salesperson, you're the marketing, you need to understand how do I bring my solution to solve their problem in the most efficient way through storytelling. When you create content, it speaks to those problems. You paint the picture in the future. You can think that bridge that your solution is the bridge that can bring them from where they are now to that future transformation.
I really love what you said about having it being a brainstorming buddy, especially when you have that small team. I
Mm-hmm,
recently worked with a cohort from builders and backers, and one of the key experiments that we had them, or key exercises that we had
mm-hmm,
builders run, was after you have an initial thought about the the product,
Yeah.
the problem that you're solving, the solution,
Yeah.
uh, have have that that paragraph, run it through ChatGTP for clarity and
Yeah.
tone, but then take it one step further and ask, what are some of the assumptions that go beyond or that go behind how I'm thinking about the problem and solution, and specifically what has to be true, what assumptions are in bringing this to market, and the demand that it might that it might receive, and being
Exactly.
able to just list out like, okay, well, you're assuming that people want to address this particular problem in this type of way that includes an app or that includes a device or that they have access to this particular community or resource that is foundational for your solution to work. And it was such a great exercise. It didn't take that long, but it immediately was able to shift the thought process of how I structure some of my customer discovery questions and what do I need to prioritize first to get to
Yeah.
even have this be a viable tech. So I appreciate that part.
Yeah. Another, yeah, that's a great example. Another, if I may add, once you get to, you know, pitching your company, whether to investors, whether it's to attract talent and what have you, having those brainstorming around potential objections, for example, what would be if I have X number of judges or investors that are in this particular sector, they have this background, whether it's technical, whether it's financial, whether it's legal, what would be the concerns they will have around this type of technologies? And in knowing those objections, it's not just the pitch. Your role when you're pitching is to remove those objections, to address them, because they're going to come as questions at the end. So your best strategy is to tackle them head on because it's in the back of their minds, and it helps you prepare and gives you that competitive edge compared to other people who are, trying to raise money or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another example when it comes to product development is to look for gaps. And we have the tools now that can help you analyze at a very large scale your competition. If, for example, in e-commerce they do that a lot. There are tools out there. You can go, let's say, to Amazon and find reviews about a certain product within the category that you're developing. And those negative reviews, that's your room for improvement for product development.
Mm-hmm.
If there are negative reviews in terms of customer experience, that's your room for improvement in terms of defining how you offer, how you deliver your solution to your customers. So there's a lot of potential for using generative AI for product development. Another one is what's called product problem first design thinking. That's when you hone in on the problem. You take your time to understand the problem, and then you can roll back and reverse engineer the solution. So it's the opposite of what we see in academia. There is the solution, I'm trying to solve a problem. And it's harder because it doesn't start with the problem and then roll back and design a solution around it. So, in doing so, you can incorporate and automate customer feedback in your development cycle. And we know that the number two reason why startups fail is the lack of product market fit. That's second to the money, which is either the lack of or the running out of money. So, if it is the second problem for failure, it really needs more attention.
And we're seeing this show up in a lot of the large industry players where they are
Mhm.
systematically trying to augment their product development process to
Mhm.
earlier and earlier include user feedback, product feedback, and reviews, and suggestions so that as they're building out that next phase, before they're even down to the little techie, down to the user service, user
Yeah.
stories of what the product is supposed to be able to do for the customer. They're
Mhm.
already trying to build in, being able to get uh, that feedback in the minds of like where are we going next, earlier and earlier in the development stage.
Exactly. And the product development, it's not just the getting the product, it's getting that product in the hands of
Mm-hmm.
the people you want to help. Because if it's not, helping the people you want to help, you're missing an opportunity here. So I think AI, for instance, can be used not only to understand your target customer, but to do scenario analysis. What would be the best go-to market? And to again brainstorm depending on what product category you have. Do you need a plan to go through conferences, or do you need study group or brainstorming groups and so on, or which partners, strategic partners, you need to collaborate with to help you with that go-to market strategy. Another one that I like quite a bit is, especially in the digital age, is to do variations on your, whether it's your sales page or your landing page or through your email marketing, if you're going through that route. And then you can track which one can give you the best, if it's the email marketing, the open rate, the click-through rate, and so on. And if it is a sales page, your opt-in rate or your conversion rate. And before AI, you can do that with agencies, and they will charge you a lot of money, and it takes a long time. You
Yes.
can do that much, much faster now.
I have a slightly technical question. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
for founders who might not have ventured too much into using Chat GTP or some of the generative AI tools, and are concerned around putting in for, it's almost, it's similar to like, hey, if I pitch my idea to a potential investor, I want to get an NDA in place. I want to make sure I'm protecting this. Are
Mm-hmm.
there um, best practices or thoughts out there around how you can safely, maybe, or how how we should be thinking about sharing and brainstorming back when we're trying to articulate the tech and what it can do, as a value proposition around,
Yeah,
we
that's a great question.
go to a database, and then it's somebody else's questions, like who else is doing this, our technology comes up. How
Yeah,
are you?
I think, yeah, that's a very good question. First of all, anything you share in public, you're gonna lose your IP. So be careful not sharing anything that's proprietary online, whether it's ChatGPT, whether it's Cloud, or other forms of generative AI. If there are any information that is personal, you need to de-identify that information. We do that a lot in genomics research when we recruit patients. We de-identify, and it's only with through barcodes. You cannot. It's only like a very limited number of people that have special clearances that have access to that. In terms of tech, don't divulge like your code if it's a coding thing. There was an example by Samsung. Some of their employees, they use the code, they verify their code that is in development for a product on these generative AI, and after that they stop. Like they're like, you're not allowed to use that. So be very careful what to share. If it is, let's say you are doing some brainstorming on what segment. You describe your tech in a way, the same way when you describe it in pitching, where you are saying, um, the high level of what the tech is. Don't give details, but what is the problem that's trying to solve, and what would be the target customers or potential, stakeholders that are involved. So keep it de-identified, and that's the way I would go about it. Try not to use any names when you are looking online or searching online just for privacy purposes as well.
Got you. So if I was to have this brainstorming session of
Mhm.
sales content, not putting my company's name, maybe just putting company
Yeah.
X has
Yeah.
these
Hmm.
features, and then on the back end going through and
Exactly. Yeah, I would say company X that offers this type of service for this particular segment. Here is a description of the segment and what the potential, like high level services they offer. And this is what we're thinking of evaluating for this particular customer segment. Give me options for that. Or what should I be? What are the pain points they are experiencing? Or what is the problem they're facing? What are they doing about that problem? And so on. But try to keep, yeah, the company name off.
that's really good advice.
Yeah. Yeah. Try not to use that. And for the audience here who are, if they are new to using generative AI for business, I did put together a blueprint, AI blueprint for business leaders. You can find it on my featured section on LinkedIn. And I can also put, once we have this live, we can put the link to it if people want to download it. It's for free.
You
So,
do a great, yeah, you do a great job of. I've heard you talk through how you can set up the prompts and set up the output so that
yeah.
you're you're not reinventing the wheel, or the process is kind of the thought process is baked into how you
Mhm.
interact with it. And what two things that really struck out or struck my my interest was how it takes a little bit of thought to
Oh, yeah.
tell it what type of process or what
Hmm.
how you'd like to gain or show display this information. And
Hmm.
for if you're just kind of starting off with an idea that you'd like to kind of go back and forth, I've run into the situation where I'm working with a small team, and I'm saying, I have this vision of what I'd like to kind of get AI to help me work through, but we haven't set up a system for even using this.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, here let's document. Here are the questions that I asked. This is the input that I put in. This is when I had to regenerate something because it didn't really set it up like this. And even just documenting the thought process, it made me realize that we didn't necessarily have a process of how we were thinking about these questions. So being able to just go through the process of interacting and getting the procedure down was extremely helpful. And why is it important? I want to ask you, why is it important to when you're maybe using these tools with your team, um, kind of maybe having a session where you're really intentional about what your process is. Just like in
Yeah.
research, if you throw the database some garbage data,
Yeah.
you some garbage data
There's
back
definitely,
to analysis.
yeah, there's definitely a process to it. Think of it as when you're learning a new language, you need to know the building blocks of that language. What are the letters? And then the words, then the sentences, and the paragraphs, and so on. Think of it in incremental fashion that here are the skill sets that I need to know. Here are the limitations. And a lot of people miss on the limitations part because there are the ethical issues, there's the hallucination, there's the potential bias. And especially if you are in healthcare or medtech and so on, be very cautious because the impact is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So in learning how to interact with those models is key because if you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. Think of it as an engine in a car and you are the driver. You need to know the engine is going to take you places faster. but you are in charge of the driving, the
Yep.
direction that you
Yep.
want to go to, and how fast the goal. Where do you want to go? So if I kind of relate that back to business, what are your goals? The first thing I would ask, and I did a workshop in the AI Business Mastery, is here's how you need to talk to it. Then define the areas in your business that will bring you the most value. If it's a business in marketing, maybe content creation and so on is more valuable than somebody who has a customer facing business where that personalization is more valuable. If it's a data analytics company, maybe the prediction arm, think about those three circles: the efficiencies, the customer service, and the predictions. So, which area has more value for your business to implement AI? Learn how to talk to it, learn the limitations. If I share with the audience one example, and that's like the basic um, building block that I would use. There are like more advanced prompt chains, but it would be give it some background.
Yeah. Yep.
Give it some background, what you do, what's your goal, what's your target audience. And when I say target audience, it's not just like two sentences. It's their psychographic, their demographic, what they do, where they get their news. Where do they have, are they suburban or in the city? Do they have pets? Do they have kids or not? So it's really deep. Give it more context. And
Yeah.
then what is your goal? What do you want to create? It could be a social media post. It could be scenario analysis for different go-to-market strategies. It could be a SWOT analysis or a pastel analysis for business. And then give it limits. If you don't give it limits, it can go on and on and on. And remember, the goal is to save time, not to go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So if you are looking for scenarios, don't just keep it open-ended. Say, give me 5 scenarios or 10 or what have you. And then specify the format of the output. And that's key because it saves you so much time. If you're a visual learner and you like maps, there are tools and plugins you can, create a mind map with the strategy and plan. If you are into tables, so you can, skim those tables, you can specify what table, what fields in each table, in what format, what's on the X, what's on the Y. So think of all the details that will make your life easier. You may spend a little bit time ahead of time in the prompting part, but it will save you so much time down the line.
That's awesome. I have one bonus question, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, for people who are putting together a digital solution and
Uh huh.
they are using maybe a low code platform before they scale up, this could be, the bubble, a med tech stack. Being able to just you're putting together actually the product and
Yeah.
using AI to kind of help with that. You alluded to like maybe checking your code and things like that.
Yeah.
Um, just general high level, what are some capabilities that we might not be thinking about that we can incorporate? Somebody who is they're newer to that building a digital aspect to their tech and outside of the marketing, bringing it a little closer to what they would actually use with the customer. Um, any thoughts around?
Yeah, I think I'm thinking like the value for generative AIs is the multimodality.
Mhm,
So instead of being, a lot of people think text when they think generative AI is in text form,
mhm,
but we also have the voice, we also have the image and the videos. So
mhm,
think of if you have a digital product and you have websites. I see that websites will be more personalized in the future, that
mhm,
they will be more immersive. It will be more video form type like almost like your pictures will be 3D and live, like a short video. And there will be a huge, like that experience of your digital product that is immersive to the sound, to the text, and to the voice will be a game changer.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
thank you. You're definitely the one of the experts I look to, and
yeah.
how what are some of our tools that we could use
Mhm.
uh, quickly
That's awesome.
bringing
And for
that.
the audience, if they would like to, they can definitely uh, um, download this AI mastery blueprint. And what it is, it's 10 high ROI, high return on investment prompts that I developed for myself. So you can understand your customers better. You can create products that people want, and you can do that in a much faster way. It includes defining your ICA, ideal customer avatar, your USP, unique selling proposition, competitive analysis, and more. So check it out.
Thank you. Thank you. That is a great uh, resource for if you're just trying, if you're just starting out.
Mhm.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
putting that together for us.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. And don't sleep on AI, it's a game changer.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Well, as always, it's been so great talking to you, Nadia. I can't wait till our next
Pleasure.
conversation. Would
Absolutely.
you like to close us out for our live guests?
Sure, absolutely. My advice to you, this is a unique opportunity if you are a business leader, if you're an investor, to learn and how to leverage AI for different aspects of the business, including product development. So your company or the companies you're investing in are developing products that people want. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next
Absolutely.
time.
See you. Bye, everybody.